These canyon walls carry my tune. The only one to hear my song are the coyotes and the wolves. But if I drink enough of this flask, I can hear them sing your song too.
Hello and welcome to the Bluff Creek Project Podcast. We are in the field again. We've done, I think, 4 of these now. So I'm here with Teri, Damon, Stevie, and Ron, and myself. We're at the cell site, which is above the Patterson Gimlin film site area. And so, how's everybody doing?
Doing good.
We all doing good?
I ate a can of Chipotle beans, and I don't know how that's gonna go in the long run.
It's gonna be
I don't-
The future's indeterminate at the moment.
Yeah,
Tate had some bad hamburgers.
no,
We just had an amazing feast, man. We just cooked all
We all
kinds
had
of
the-
stuff on the fire, and
I had a hamburger. It was good. It wasn't terrible.
We have a forest feast for the Sasquatch too.
Oh yeah, we do. That's pretty cool. Put a trail camera and hopefully we get something.
Stinky salmon.
Stinky salmon, hot dogs, and burger patties. I'm not leaving precious beer out there. I don't want to.
no, you can't use that resource. No.
Maybe if you put it like in a bucket or something.
Yeah. Like I said, we probably won't pull a whole Sasquatch. We'll probably pull in the biggest grizzly in the Northern California for that.
The only grizzly.
The only grizzly.
The only-
That one.
Wait, that'd be just as rare as seeing a Bigfoot up here.
Yeah, it's just tearing through your car looking for more.
Has anybody used beer as bait for Bigfoot?
I don't know, but
I mean, you might get like a whoop halfway through the night.
how is that again? Like a ooh.
I'm bugging.
But wait a minute, it's like halfway through the woman like trips and falls down. It's,
Something's really crashing around down there. Almost like it can't walk.
oh god, that's so
All
good.
right, now let's get back to serious talking.
Yeah, this is a serious podcast.
We've always said our podcast was never serious. That's how we describe it.
Yeah, Tate Hieronymus and Kip.
That's the perfect pair. Perfect pair.
I don't know. I guess it is. Last night we kind of talked about what's spookier, staying at the film site or staying at Louse Camp, and you mentioned something.
I wanted to say, like, I was torn between it because, like, I feel like we experienced a lot. Some of it Bigfoot, potentially Bigfoot related, and some of it not so much. Like, I think for me, being down at the film site, it's kind of creepy because that's the area where, I mean, we have the best evidence that supports that there was a Bigfoot actually there. You know, for anybody that hasn't had a sighting, you know, like that for me, I'm like, that's the one that's on camera. And also it's kind of creepy because they have all this documentation of all the wildlife that are down there. You know, you're in mountain lion country when you're down there. You're in bear country when you're down there. You get weird people like just wandering through there on their own on those cameras and stuff, and you don't know what they're like, and so I think there is like a mystery factor there, and it is like down there, so it's not super easy like coming up.
Yeah, you have to like hike
Right.
off the road through the creek.
That's what I was thinking. You don't really have an easy escape route there.
Yeah.
You either go down the creek or straight up the hill.
But
It's very deep down there. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you throw it all together, right? You got all the camera shots of the bears.
yeah,
Mountain lions.
That's funny because, like, you said it's really deep down there. It's really funny because Alexander Petikoff was here with Small Town Monsters, and he was like, I didn't realize how far this place was back in there. Like, Louse Camp, just in general, Louse Camp, It's like, I thought it was like right off the highway. I'm like, no, it's a good hour back in the forest, just off the main road.
It's definitely every time I go bigfooting here versus somewhere else. Like a lot of times I go into national forest and I pull up at a paved location and somewhere out of the state, you know, like so it's not the same. Like going out to Falk, yeah, you're kind of out there in the countryside in the boonies, but you're still on a paved road the entire time. You know, the Forest Service roads or the entrance to a bayou that I like to go to, it's not like way off. It's along some country roads, but it isn't like past residential areas high up in the mountains on these gravel, like very wild places. Like if it takes more than an hour of driving off paved roads to get where you're going, you're out there.
Yeah.
And it takes, 2 or 3, depending on which way you go in,
Yeah.
to
From
get
the
to
start,
Laos.
Yeah. It's well, like what I think Rowdy was saying, Laos Camp is the heart of Bluff Creek, because you got like 4 different creeks that drain into Notice Creek. You got Bluff Creek, Deer Lick, and there's another one he said. But like all those creeks converge right there at Laos Camp, and Laos Camp is still pretty active. But people don't realize like how far it is to get into the film site itself.
Yeah.
Because you gotta drive a dirt road. It's like you said, it's like a good hour or 2, depending on where you go. And then you got to hike the rest of the way in.
It's a good 30-minute hike.
It's a good 30 minutes. It's a half a mile one way and half a mile back to the film site. So you're close to a 2-mile hike in and out total.
Now Laos is creepy.
Because of the voices, I think, from that come from the creek. You know, the white noise.
Yeah.
I've heard some women scream.
Well, you know, I've heard some strange, like, I mean, I've heard the some of the stories that come out of both locations, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I think both of them have like this kind of creep factor. You know, we were talking about hearing the voices, the mimicking up by the film site. We were talking about the strange sounds that people were seeing. Like, I mean, and I've, you know, what Bobo says he saw down at Laos, that story is really like unnerving to me for whatever reason. Like just seeing the profile there, like kind of closer.
That's
than you would
exactly.
expect to see it.
That's what like happened to me that first time there. Something was outside the tent.
Yeah.
With that dark shadow profile, and it wasn't a shadow because it didn't. Shadow went the same way it came from. That's no natural shadow. So, I mean, there's still stuff that happens there.
Yeah.
And then like, I don't know. Tell me if you guys feel this way. To me, it feels this way. Coming up here, I've been coming up here for a long time. To me, it seems like this has been the most active year that I've had up here because of all the deer I've been seeing. The rock slides that Alex, Eli, and I got when we first got into Bluff Creek. Then we heard something running, and then everything happening up at Laird Meadow was just. I feel like something was really here this time and kind of making itself more known. Versus the other times I've been here, we've been out to Onion Lake and other places, and it's like, we weren't getting anything.
No.
Yeah, I have to admit there's a lot of animals here, because last year, we didn't see anything. I mean, I didn't see a thing.
Didn't see
Deer, nothing.
I always see one bear at least one time coming here, even if it's a tail end, but didn't see any other deer.
The deer are everywhere. We saw 2 foxes last night driving out to Onion on the road, and
yeah, going out to this other
deer around Onion.
Yeah, going to this other place, I saw like 4 foxes. And then on our way back from camp the other night, we saw a deer here and then a deer up the road.
Yeah.
We've been finding tracks too.
We found tons of deer tracks,
bear
bear tracks,
down
fresh.
in the film site,
Fresh bear tracks
you
in
know,
Onion.
we were able to find different scat samples too, you know.
Yeah, we found mountain lion scat and bear scat at the film site.
Which the cat was old. That was old scat, but the bear was, I want to say, less than a week.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
And then we went to Onion Lake. We saw fresh bear sign.
Mm-hmm.
Like probably within a day or 2, because that was like really fine, powdery dirt. That
Yeah, I talked to Rowdy. He'd been there 3 days ago.
we were there. We got there.
Did you see anything?
But we walked around the whole thing. But I pointed out the fact that when we pulled up, there's like massive spider webs, huge webs all the way across that have been there a while, pretty elaborate stuff. And we were first thinking, man, nobody's been here in weeks. But I mean, that's maybe not obviously not the case because Roddy was just there a couple days ago. So obviously those spiders are pretty pretty good at making
Pretty
stuff.
efficient.
But
we were there probably before Rowdy actually.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Eli and Alex went in there our first night here because there was nobody here at all. It was just 3 of us hanging out. So we drove into Onion Lake. I think maybe Rowdy went in there but who knows? But I want to talk about Laird Meadow because we were having some incidents out there. Like, okay, because I was in the meadow and Alex and I had something thrown at us. And we heard a knock way off in the distance in that same direction where that sound came from, that we had something thrown. Did you hear anything on the road when you guys were up there, or no?
We heard one thing, and the only thing we heard was what sounded like a knock. That was the only thing we heard.
It was a crystal clear knock too. It was really loud.
I want to say that at one point I thought I heard like a little down, like in the, like not like a scream or anything long, but just like a chirp of a sound.
Well,
and I waited to hear it again, and that's why I didn't even bring it up because I didn't. And I was like, well, that could have been a dog bark or like a fox call or something like that.
Well, the first night when it was just Stevie, Dustin, and I, right?
No. Wait.
Yeah.
When? What are you talking
The
about?
first night when we were at...
It was Stevie,
The meadow,
you,
or
and
Ron?
Dustin, and Ron.
Yeah.
You were there
Yeah.
on the first night?
Remember he threw the
Yeah,
rock.
because Bandit. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
And then Alex, Eli, Jonathan, and I were in the meadow.
Yes, that's correct. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we were.
But the only thing I heard was that thing that sounded like a knock. I didn't hear anything else.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
they were.
it's crazy how the sound works there. You would think you'd hear it all, but sometimes you're in one area and you can hear it way better than the other team
Yeah,
can.
because we couldn't hear you guys knock. We couldn't hear you guys what you were hearing, and we were out there kind of like hearing maybe some different things, and so I felt like where we were, like you could hear us if we like did a call, but
Yeah, we could hear
largely we couldn't experience what you were experiencing. That's why like I was like, well, I'm not just gonna sit here and not have anything happen, so I'm gonna start tossing rocks down here to see what happens. And that's I from the way I remember it, it seemed like Stevie did his call, and you guys started to get a couple of knocks. And around the time where I threw this huge rock down, then all of a sudden you guys are radioing, like saying, hey, we're getting a lot of knocks. Are you guys doing any of them? And so I don't know if those like correlated together. Like,
I don't know.
like they started like knocking more after the rock came tumbling down. But if they were on the other side with you guys, if there was something over there with you, then if you didn't hear the rock, then it wouldn't have either in theory. So
Yeah. I was thinking about what you said
I think-
afterwards, like the aggressive thing.
Yeah.
Thinking that we were like an aggressive Bigfoot or something up there, since I was doing a big old call, and then you're throwing rocks off the edge and everything, and we're doing a bunch
No,
of
he only
knocks.
threw that one, and that was a good one.
Well, I threw like a few others.
How
I
many
threw
rocks
some gravel, but it didn't go
Yeah.
far. I don't think that
Did you only
anything
throw
noticed
one
it.
big rock then?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we threw some like softball sized ones, a couple of them, and
They
then
didn't go far.
they didn't go far. Yeah, and then the one that I did, like it got momentum and like crashed all the way down to almost like the base of the mountain because it was impressive.
That was
And it only made like 2 loud kind of knocks.
Yeah, somewhere down, like, because we heard a big bang, and I was thinking that's where it stops. And then I started to hear it build momentum again. Wham!
Yeah.
So it'd be like
gunshot at the
the
end.
trunk of a tree or something.
I wonder if that's what we maybe heard in the meadow. But we did. There was that point when we did hear 3 loud knocks.
We played back the audio. It didn't sound like the sounds that you guys were hearing didn't sound like a cascading, like snowballing rock, going down.
So I didn't get to listen to the whole thing yet. I'm gonna do that probably tomorrow and see if I can hear what was going on.
Well, I mean, Jonathan was telling me like he's like I'm listening to, all these sounds, and he's like, and I'll attribute at least one of the knocks that we're hearing to the rock,
Yeah.
So I was like, whatever you've heard, if you only heard one, then assume it's the rock. But if you heard multiple, then obviously that wasn't us, because we didn't
So
do that a lot. We didn't do it more than one time.
Yeah, my sequence of events was like, Stevie did the howl, and then after that, something through the branch at Alex and I. And then probably 10 minutes later after that, we heard way off back in the meadow, a really silent, we could hear it, but it was a knock for sure. Way out in the meadow, like beyond it. Not towards you guys, like behind Alex and I, facing backwards. And then it was, we thought you guys were doing like multiple knocks. That's why, that was like, are they doing it? Like, what the heck? And then we were like, guys, stop doing it. And then you guys like, we're not doing it.
We weren't.
And we're like, what in the world?
That's why I was trying to get in between your guys, when the walkie was clear, let you guys know. We're not doing anything. We were sitting there.
Because you go, so like you said, one knock could have been you because of the rock.
Yeah. And then there was that one time where I clapped my hands together with the open mouth.
I don't think that could have been loud enough to...
But you guys, I mean, we explained to you that was us. And so you knew that first one was us.
Yeah.
And then I think we did the call afterward, right?
But if you do that hand thing, there's no way we could have heard you from where you were at. Because if you weren't hearing our knocks, because Jonathan had that like mallet thingy or whatever.
Well, if you guys were in a basin or something, I'm trying to think of the layout there because it goes up the slope. There's a way that,
and it's not that far up.
yeah.
So
There's a way that like
you.
the way your sound traveled might not have echoed back or traveled to us.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
It might have stopped. It might have had an obstruction, but we were out facing further out, so there's a chance that I guess something could have echoed out and bounced back, and you guys would have heard it in the meadow. Because it could have maybe the sound could maybe wrap around the ridge line a little bit better than it could escape the meadow, which is kind of
right there in a bowl.
In a bowl, yeah.
It was definitely interesting to say the least.
Yeah, it was a good night. I mean, we walked away with a lot of questions. And earlier that day, the thing that happened I don't know, man. For me, this trip is like, the last time I was out here, it was in October. It was 2018. And I don't remember really experiencing anything squatchy. It was cool getting to meet, everybody down there in Louse Camp and get to hear some stories and go to the film site. And it was a really good experience for me. But in terms of witnessing any Bigfoot stuff in Northern California, I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything. So this trip, we had the stuff going on in Louse Camp. So I came in and you guys had already had this story of something throwing rocks down on you when you were tossing rocks at something
down
below you.
Yeah.
and so that was right around Louse Camp. And then we had the thing with the salamander guys. So these Texas guys that came out to look for the giant Trinity salamander were at Louse Camp, experiencing that for the first time, going and checking out the Jerry Crew site just up the road. And we were all walking up there, and Bandit was with the group up in the front, and we were tailing behind, but I'm used to him running back and forth. But when they came down and my dog wasn't with them, I was like, something's wrong. And Bandit was unnerved. His tail was between his legs. He was hiding in the side of the bushes, which is what he does when he's terrified, and he doesn't have a shelter close by that he's familiar with. So if he's not near the car, if he's not near the tent, if he's not near the house, he ducks to the side and hunkers down and waits for somebody to come rescue him. And so I came up there, but then he didn't want to go down the hill out of that valley, and he was running away from me. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And we were talking, and I think it was Alex and maybe Ken.
I think it was.
Said that they heard a couple of knocks up there, and this would have been sometime after you were bowling rocks over the side in the valley just because. And so I don't know if you made something mad there. Tate, quit throwing rocks down the sides of mountains. You're pissing things off.
But we were getting action because of it.
Well, my dog has PTSD now because he picked up on something in that valley that he didn't want to. But no, so his tail was between his legs the whole time. And the only time I ever seen him get that scared was when there are ridiculously loud gunshots or fireworks in the immediate vicinity. And so something unnerved him to such a degree. I mean, it was weird. And then when we got across the Jerry Crew Bridge and closer to camp, his tail went back to normal. And I mean, he was still kind of darting around and looking around the surroundings. And he's just the last couple of days, he's been like super fatigued. I don't know if it's related or not. But that was uncharacteristic behavior that I witnessed. And that was also in the Lost Camp area.
And for people who don't know, this is Ron's dog, Bandit. And he's hiked with Bandit the whole Appalachian Trail.
Yeah.
So
He's got well over 3,000 miles under his belt from all the various long distance hikes that we've done, and
he's experienced.
he's
Bandit
spent probably a calendar year or more in the woods at this point.
Yeah, Bandit is no
10 years.
stranger to the wilderness.
Yeah.
So like for that to happen would be a little unsettling to you, I would imagine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even when I've had like potential Bigfoot activity and experiencing wood knocks in the past and stuff like that, he just looks up, he acknowledges that there's a sound that comes from the woods. He doesn't doesn't have that sense of dread if there's potentially Sasquatch in the area, so he's never been that dog that fit that stereotype of, oh, my dog's a trained killer, and then we caught whiff of the Sasquatch, and then he was hid under the porch for 3 days. Man, it's never been that dog. Yeah. But he acted a little bit like that the other day, and I'm trying to figure out what set him off.
It is interesting. Like, what are you thinking, Terry?
It's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, we
over
keep
here.
hearing something over there.
Yeah.
Oh?
Yeah.
Going after the hot dogs.
That's what I'm
Oh, yeah,
wondering.
for real. You threw the hot dogs over there. Something.
You just
there's
hearing something move around?
Ton of
Right,
mice.
Stevie, too.
That's the thing we noticed up at the lake, and the lake, so many little micey critters jumping and running around.
Yeah.
Well, our first night
It's
here,
crazy.
there was a big old buck that was running back there. I mean, it sounded like it was knocking trees
Yeah.
over.
Well, I heard him too. That first thing I pulled
Oh,
up.
that was
He went right by. Hoping-
Dropping pork rinds over here.
Look at that.
No, it's good. It's good.
Right down.
Just
5
blow it
seconds.
off.
5
It's the
seconds.
woods.
This is dirt and
It's
rocks.
just dirt and rocks. You're good.
So
And it's
Dirt and rocks.
surface Tate.
No, that's over there. We don't
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about that.
Terry dropped the best pork rind in the pork rind.
For
area.
real.
Can I
For
have a
anybody
pork?
that's confused,
Can I
on
get
what
the
type
pork
of
rind
horse
over
you're-
here?
Yeah, of course.
Por favor. Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, they're definitely not going to hear that crunch.
I've been eating them the whole time over here, so. but I've
Stealth
been-
crunch.
He's not,
Here,
she's not
here.
chewing, you're
I'll
just
make
putting
sure
your
they
mouth
hear
on
it.
There we go.
Unsubscribe.
Right there.
For those who don't know, that was a pork rind. Man, these taste funky.
What do you mean?
It's because
They're
that
all right.
hamburger.
I don't like pork rinds, I just guess. I'll take another one, though.
How is this? Awful.
Ugh.
I'm not a big fan either.
I'm not eating
Except
more
I'm
than
like,
10.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I am bummed. That is the best looking pork rind I've ever seen.
No,
I
it's still
don't
good,
like
it's still
like pork rinds. Can I just get a couple more, please?
I guess fry up only half the pig.
I prefer bacon to pork rinds.
Yeah, I'll take bacon any day.
I
Yeah,
think
it's
it's healthier. This is
All right, you're talking now.
What are you talking about?
This is like freeze-dried bacon, but not as good.
freeze-dried.
Okay.
All right, so
Back to the matter at hand.
Dogs, I've had my pug do that to me a couple times where we're walking and he's usually 50-yard radius, dumbass, just running around back
Yeah.
and forth. And then every now and then it just comes right over next to you and just sit down. Doesn't do anything, just, something's got him freaked out of nowhere.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, see, I was wondering if he got the scent of a cat or something, but then when I heard there was knocks that were heard, and that wasn't like the only time. Like this morning, I heard 2 knocks.
So you really did hear 2 knocks?
I heard like 2 knocks. So I was laying in my tent, so I was like, it was starting to get warm, and I was thinking about, because I wanted to like bid farewell to Jonathan, who was leaving this morning, and I was wondering if he was still here or not. But so I was awake, and I was trying to get up, but I had been awake for a few minutes, and at like 7:45, I remember hearing a knock, and I looked at my watch, and I was like, okay, it's 7:45, like, so I'll listen and see if I hear anything more. And I didn't for a while, but then like later, I was still lounging, almost like a whole hour later. 8:23 was the next time that I heard a knock.
What kind of knock are you talking
I mean, just it sounded like a wood knock, like
Just
a crisp knock,
very
like
knock,
up the ridge.
A louder knock?
Yeah. So, I mean, did you come down to Laos and see kind of where my, like, big canvas tent was over in the corner there?
Yeah.
So it was behind all of that. So it was kind of, like, further up that ridge there. And that kind of, like, is just a little skip away from the valley where Bandit was getting nervous. And then across the road and up that little ridge is where you guys, on the other opposite side, is where you had the rocks come down on you. So, like, that side, like, you're coming in, like, past the Jerry Crew Bridge, up from the Jerry Crew Bridge, it seems like a lot is going on in those ridges and valleys right now.
You know what, though, too? A lot of bears have been seen in that area, particular, too.
Yeah.
But Bandit's used to bears. That's the thing,
Abs-
right?
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah, he's never been fazed by him. He sat there and looked at them like they were just another neighborhood dog.
That's right. I think I remember you saying that. They've been looking eye to eye before.
Yeah.
Bandits
And then the
were
bears are
phased.
just kind of, they don't want anything to do with me and a dog, you know?
I think they even played poker.
Oh, yeah? Like in the painting?
Like the painting, yeah.
But also last night, that was where I heard that too. Right after we went to bed, like
Yeah, you told me you
3:50,
heard a knock at
I
night.
heard a perfect, just one.
And I wish I wasn't that guy that, like, lost
kills
consciousness
instantly.
30 seconds after he gets in his tent, but I was, and so I didn't hear that one, but
And
I
then
woke
I-
up
yeah.
and heard the other ones in the morning.
But I also set up my recorder, but then I accidentally fell asleep, so I might have
Right.
caught what you heard in the morning.
Hmm.
Because I only turned off my recorder after you
You
guys
gotta
came
play
over.
those back.
Yeah, I'm gonna
see
have
what
to
you
listen.
got.
Now. But you just said, was it 7:45 or something? So I'll
Yeah.
go right over to that
7:45 and 8:23.
part. Yeah.
But we had some Bigfooters
Live
in our
audio
camp.
evidence review.
Oh,
There
you're
you
right.
go. You should do that on the.
Podcast will be 5 hours long.
We had some Bigfooters that, like, were outside of the Bluff Creek Project group.
We didn't
and-
know. At first, we didn't know what to think of them though.
Yeah.
They were like cutting chain like woohoo!
Yeah,
Like,
they were
what
like
the
getting
heck?
all like they were getting all like
Felt like Deliverance or something.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Honestly,
I thought they were doing like a contest of who could saw through the logs faster with the
maybe is
chainsaws.
it the TV show come to Laos camp and film like those extreme lumberjack TV, like sports shows or something?
But then we came back last
Real
night
Wives
after
of Long Beach showed up. They're out there camping.
Right.
when we got back last night. Then they had all that light arrangement, and we were starting to think they were trying to like reach out to aliens or something because they had all
Yeah.
these like really multicolored LEDs all around their camp.
I think they were fenced in too. Didn't they have netting? It looked like
yeah.
netting in some area.
Yeah. I mean, they
Oh,
were having a
weird.
good time, so if somebody got a little tipsy, they had the string lights to keep them in the perimeter.
There you go.
There you
Yeah.
go.
They can zap
Yeah, was
yeah.
it keep them in or is it to keep them?
Yeah, so they knew not to wander past that, you know, like because then they're like, oh, we don't know about footing past the lights, you know.
You know you're gonna be so drunk that you have to set up a perimeter. So
Yeah.
You don't.
Are they still down there?
Yeah, they're still down there.
Yeah.
Still down there?
Jeez.
But they ended up being pretty cool. But yeah, we went through and we asked them because we were talking about it, and I was like, I think I heard knocks, and you know, have any of you guys gone out and done that, you know, yet? And they told us that nobody in their party had gone out, and I asked them all
Yeah, at
individually.
8:32 this morning, I was whacking on.
Yeah.
Whacking
But
Excuse us for the profanity in this podcast episode.
But another side note about those guys. So this week we had the Bluff Creek guys out here, but we've also had some guys from Texas, some cryptozoologists. Ken Gearhard was one of them, and some other friends that I know personally out of Texas from my travels out there. They came out to try and find evidence on the first expedition for the giant Trinity Alps salamander. They didn't see a single salamander of any size from what they were telling me. We were seeing them in Bluff Creek, but these guys, these Bigfooters that rolled up in camp yesterday,
Nobody knew who they were.
yeah, they put a crayfish trap trying to catch crayfish with some fish bait, some fish meat inside of it, and they tossed it in the swimming hole down there. And overnight, an 11-foot, or not 11-foot, an 11. They would really hate that. An 11-inch salamander, and still trying to confirm the species, crawled into their trap. So they caught the giant.
Salamander.
Not even trying.
Giant salamander of Notice Creek. And I got some pictures. We took some measurements, and I'm gonna show it to all my Texas salamander hunters.
I think it was you saying how funny would it be that they catch the giant salamander just downstream from the film site
In Bluff Creek.
in Bluff Creek.
Yeah, you just like pull out something that's like the size of a hellbender, like 3 feet long, like just. That would be nuts. I wouldn't doubt it though. And now we know, like, if we want to catch decent sized salamanders, the crayfish trap. And if you make a bigger version of that, then you can size up, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Very interesting, man.
Yeah, that was super cool that we got to experience that. And I tell you what, I was trying to get a handle on that thing. I could absolutely not. I was trying to get a firm grip. I wasn't trying to hurt it or crush it, but it was too slippery, and it was secreting slime so that it could and I could tell it had like a weird viscosity, and it was secreting like this. It probably A, tasted bad, B, probably mildly poisonous to anything that ate it, and C, made it super slippery so it got out. So I mean, you want to talk about something that's hard to catch, and that's what she said.
Hey.
I couldn't resist.
You know what? I'm done telling my story now. Let's just move on.
I just don't agree with the poisonous
The
part.
moment you said firm grasp, I saw his eyes light up. He's like, oh,
I heard the wheels
I'm
spinning.
ready.
They heard the factory starting up the engines. Smoke was pluming out my ears and nose. Please continue with your story, Ron.
No, I was done. All done. Stevie,
Yeah.
tell us about your experiences.
About what?
I don't know. Just talk.
Start talking. Somebody start talking.
I mean,
How's your trip been this year?
I'm just happy that there's things here this time. Like last time we were here, even just last year, it was so quiet.
Sorry.
Okay, so last
Ron's giving me a death stare over
I
here.
look, you can't help it.
It ain't
He's not
even my
looking.
podcast.
No, I was trying to
I'm
figure out
very
why
upset.
Why his air pressure in the
Ron's
car
like,
is
I'm
flying
officially
around in
taking
there.
over.
Well, that's why I went to go over there and look, because something white went like
Oh,
right
you see
up
something?
behind his tailgate and down.
A
I
live
thought it might be a
experience.
bird.
What is it?
I think it was a bird.
Because you got your stuff open back there, and there's
Wait,
a lot of
explain it
goodies
again,
back
explain
there.
it
So I
again.
think it was a bird.
Oh.
Goody, goody.
I was,
Alright.
I was just looking in your window and I could see your air pressure kind of flopping around in there. I'm like, why
Oh,
is
yeah,
it
there's a little
doing
cross
that?
breeze going through.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was that big of a breeze though. That's what I was thinking. What is up with that?
Ron, so you did a good impression of me. Do an impression of me that you did at last camp. Let's hear it.
I don't know if I could do it again.
Just go.
It's okay, guys. You can laugh.
All right, I gotta hear you guys' impression of me. Let's hear it.
Oh no.
I don't have one.
Oh, come on. Okay,
I was like, what?
impression of me. Do an impression of me.
Hey, did you guys do a knock? There was 3 of them.
We're going to do one in 12 seconds.
That's it. There's going to be a knock in 30 seconds. 2 minutes passed by. Okay, knock in 30 seconds.
I don't have a timer.
Stevie, do a Bigfoot call, but do the Bobo one.
That's really good.
In 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Oh, dear
We're
God.
like waiting. It's like, I think it's been like 30 seconds, about 3 minutes.
Wait,
Hey, did you do a call? Not yet.
guys. grinds are terrible.
Oh my goodness.
They're bad for your cholesterol.
Why is he saying that in a radio? He's doing the radio. He's miming a radio. Like, that's something you would say on an expedition.
There's a knock.
Pork rinds.
I heard a knock. But also, pork rinds are high in fiber. And don't eat
8 grams of protein per serving.
Don't eat Chipotle beans either. That'll give you the runs.
I'm still laughing last night when we're already at the lake, at Onion Lake, and we're in our positions, we're being quiet, we're looking at stuff, and you guys come rolling in, and noise, your car's making noise, and fans on, and the lights are on, like, what's going on? And those crap's happening.
High beams on.
And you set your car alarm off.
The best part is we pull up, and Jonathan gets out and joins you guys, and so like we look at you guys, we're like, so the plan is, you guys are gonna go around the perimeter, and me and Ron are gonna take a nap, and just listen in case there's sounds. And we straight up were out. Dude. Bigfoot could have come over and like started slapping on the hood of the car, and we were just snoring.
Oh, that probably makes sense. You remember I told you
It
that?
could have
I heard
bikini
that
washed
grunt
my
thing.
car and wouldn't notice
And I thought
anything.
that it might have been a snore.
Yeah, you hear him snoring to it. Yeah, Tate snores.
I heard you guys snoring up at that little berm up there.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's wild.
it was the easiest night of squatching I've ever had.
You're
I
not
will
lying.
admit, though, when you turned on your car alarm, that scared the dickens out of me.
Well, what
Oh,
happened?
my
I thought
God.
I've done that before. Where I thought the car was unlocked and I went to turn the key on. Then it does that. I forget to I have to unlock to do it.
And your eyes, when you looked up, when CB's shining the light on you, they were like all red and like.
I was sleeping.
I know. No. I mean, there was like this glow, like.
Let's go.
What are you doing? You know, and then the alarm goes off, and it's like.
I felt like I got pulled over by a cop. Like, son, were you drinking?
Yes. Just shut the light in your eyes.
A little earlier I was.
I mean, I'd rather have a cop show up than like a Sasquatch.
Oh no way!
Why would you?
I would.
No, I mean like to my like window.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he just comes up and like reaches in,
That
and
would
then you're
be
gone.
Awesome. That would be awesome. Just shake hands, but make sure to grab a little fur.
And throw it in the car so someone else
Yeah,
can
and
do
keep
that.
it, and then like rip off a fingernail and all that time. You got to think fast.
Try to do like and then like like from the 3-point line, try to shoot it back into the car window. So that'll be like a little gift, my final
There you go.
contribution.
Yeah.
I was told.
For I'm never seen again.
I was told by somebody that I won't mention names again, but I was told that if we ever run over by accident, of course, because they run in front of you, a Sasquatch, and if it's too big to put in your car, make sure you cut off its hands, its feet, and its head.
Mm.
And I honestly don't think I could do that.
Man, I cut this Sasquatch head off, and when I picked up the head, a human head fell out of this thing.
Imagine how tough that would be. Like, so like the what
Must
was
have
it,
just ate it.
Well, remember that? What was it? That 72 hours that the movie about that guy got his hand stuck between the rocks and the crevasse down in the wrap or
127
something?
hours.
Yeah.
Right? And he finally gets the dull knife out and decides to cut his arm off, and how long it
Yeah.
takes him to do it. Can you imagine trying to saw through a Sasquatch with that?
I tried cutting through some like
homeless guy
parachute
picked up.
cord. Maybe it was a little cheaper than that. with
What's
a
the
dull knife.
neck thing? Is it like the trapezius muscle or something like that, or am I just not anatomying right?
Like
The neck
like
muscle.
like a call.
Talking
The
about
the
trapezius,
This one across
like-
here.
Let's just say the neck muscle.
Yeah, I feel like you'd be hacking on that for a while.
Yeah, and that tendon's just gonna be just.
But see, I
Yeah.
don't think I carry something that sharp in my car.
I would just drag it with some chains behind my, hook it up to my tailgate.
Then there'd be
Get a
proof
tow rope.
all the way up the road.
Yeah.
All
It'd be
the way
like
back to
National Lampoon Vacation, and left as a collar. By the time you get out there.
See, I told you. Wait, where'd it go?
I swear I got a big one.
See, I'd want to put the whole thing in my car. And
Oh,
Then you
yeah.
got a Harry and the
Then it wakes
Henderson
up.
situation.
That's
Yeah.
what I was going to say. Then it'd sit
He
up.
wakes up.
Yeah, and I actually wouldn't mind if it tore my car to bits because
We're taking you to a
it's
vet.
all
Just
part of
calm
the
down.
experience. That's right.
We're taking you to a vet.
And also, it's like not only that, like not only would you not be able to do it, but even if you were trying to do it. It's like if you hit one Bigfoot, what if there's like his family or something?
Yeah, the other
looking
thing,
at you like up on
I
the
feel like
ridge,
you don't
just
even
start
have the
going
time to
at
butcher it
Mm-mm.
because something else would be like, "What are you doing?"
uh-huh.
Yeah.
them.
I don't
Just
think
hit that
they-
Bigfoot.
But yet I don't have no proof of this, but it just doesn't seem like any kind of possible experience that I've had
Mm-hmm.
that there's been just one. There's at least been noises that of two or more.
Example, like there's one rude person at the gas station. I've had experiences with another rude person. There's more than one rude person.
At the same time. That was a bad.
In the same
that was a
place
bad
at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't want to say it out loud, but
that was a bad one.
No, I'm just saying because every time we hear something like you were saying down when you guys were at the meadow, right? You heard something in front of you, then you heard something behind you. And then we were somewhere else. I think you guys said the same thing where we heard
It was me and
something
Alex
to
and
the
Eli.
left.
There was a rock slide. We heard something up there. And
Mhm.
we heard something down below us.
So I don't, but I don't have any proof other, than what I've heard and things, but to
Yeah.
say that it's true. But I honestly, personally don't think that they travel alone.
Bart's Sierra footage, there's 3 in that one.
Yeah, see? So if you're going to butcher something, you're going to make the family mad.
yeah,
I don't think you're going to get out of there at all
you might have just enough time
to get
if
a
you have
finger,
like a
maybe.
hatchet or something to just
So any self-respecting
hand,
Bigfooters
get in the
should
car,
have like a bone
go.
saw in the trunk.
Or a
Yeah,
chainsaw.
always.
But even then, there's still a chance that they can like cut you off and then stand in front of the road, and then what?
You shoot
Yeah.
your way out if you have a gun.
Shoot your way out.
Way out, just like Ape Canyon.
I've been preparing for this for my entire life.
Yeah, but like Damon was saying, you're going to need like a bone cutter or...
Well, here's what we need.
Yeah.
Here's how you
Yeah.
prepare for that. You go to one of those schools. I don't know where you go buy a cadaver somewhere. You buy like 5 of them. Then you have drills that you run on the cadavers. Human cadavers. There is a dead.
You just
So you throw
you
it in
just
the middle of the
buy
street.
those.
Yeah, you buy them.
You
You can buy them on
You got
Amazon.
a spare one?
Yeah, like I can imagine like when I go and get my license updated. Like okay, there's a checkbox. I was an organ donor,
Yes.
and then Tate
Cadaver
Hieronymus, Bigfoot body collection donor.
Yeah, it didn't actually say who you're donating your body
Right.
to. It could
Right.
be anybody.
Tate.
We're full of like heart transplants, but I got this guy named Tate.
Yeah. Apparently, you're just gonna.
He's doing some. Yeah. He's doing some stuff.
You practice cutting people's heads off and arms off with
Yeah.
chainsaws and different material
Yeah,
to see what
Oh.
will
hang a
work
body
the
from a rope in the middle of the road, hit it,
Get some practice.
and then
in.
start a clock, and then see how long you can get the head off that thing.
Will it work if I drag the body, or will there?
No, because then everyone's going to see it. And then you're going to definitely get yourself pulled over.
No.
So
but-
you might as well commit murder.
Well, you
I'm
should.
kidding.
Yeah, you should get pulled over. Then the state can get involved really quickly in the cover up.
Exactly.
That's exactly what would happen. Your evidence would be gone
I
no
haven't
matter
heard from Tate
what.
in a while.
Where'd Tate go?
I just found his
Oh,
car
yeah.
with a huge dent in it.
He went to jail for tax fraud. Then he hung himself.
Oh, God.
I don't know where it went.
I think he's dead. Dear God, this just turned into a really
That got really dark.
brutal.
Well, thank goodness for editing, right?
No, this is staying
Yeah,
in.
yes.
No.
Oh my gosh!
This is all
This
staying
is
in.
going
This
out
is-
live right now.
Right now,
The
oh,
true
well, I'm
face.
Going to the
doing that.
interwebs right now.
Tate Hieronymus.
Hey, this is called in the field for a reason.
Well, you know what? It's actually true because these are things that we actually talk about. It's kind of funny because
It's pretty true.
other things people are like, "Oh my gosh,
It's
listen to
not
these
unheard
people,"
of
and we're
for
like, "It's
someone to
real."
hit a Sasquatch in a vehicle. It's happened before. People have done it before.
I want to
So-
see someone hit a Sasquatch in an RV.
I think I would
Pieces
take
for
pictures.
everybody.
I would take pictures.
That-
We're talking about dismembering a Bigfoot.
Well, you know what? The only advantage
That
to
is fake.
hit in
So here's a sad story that makes people. That makes it what people would think are sick. I was like, I saw this on CSI, right? I had a flight attendant who, on an overnight, was at a CVS store and walked out, followed a woman out. And this woman was like 5 feet in front of her. The lady makes a turn, and then some old woman mistakes the gas for her brake and smashes this woman into the wall, just right in front of her, just destroys her. And right after that, my first officer walks around the corner and walks in and sees the scene of this blood and body everywhere. And he's like, I thought they were filming CSI when I walked around the corner. Just it looked just like it.
Oh.
So what do? Do you, if you take a picture of a Sasquatch splattered across your window and down things, say, oh man, that's fake. That's the first thing someone's going to say.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You have to have some
Unless you drag the head along with
evidence
you,
with
throw the bag
it
and
of
took it
some
with you.
kind.
You have
That's
to
what I was
act like
saying.
it.
Got to get fur. If you can't cut the limbs off or something like that, I was told to at least try to get a finger. You know, cut through what you can.
Because the hair, even if you are able to get hair, you usually won't even cut it. Because they're just going to be like, oh, it's just an unverified
And I don't
species.
carry like
and I don't know what that is.
things.
Yeah.
I don't carry bone saws,
like-
and I don't carry chainsaws in my car.
I don't know.
Well, you
Maybe
My
we
thing-
should.
My thing is, you'd have to like I would not in clear consciousness if I just knock it out and it's just laying there, like eyes closed or whatever. Like I wouldn't know if it's unconscious, if it's gonna wake up or what.
Harry and the Hendersons. That's what you're saying.
Exactly.
You know?
So I wouldn't want to like start cutting off like vital organs and stuff, and then it like would have
wakes
been
up.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it wakes up and rips your lungs out or something.
It wakes
Yeah.
up and does the Tate scream.
It'd probably do it anyway. Yeah, it's wounded. Doesn't know what the hell happened to it. You're standing right there, and it's.
Well, I mean,
defending
if
Yeah.
you're
itself.
gonna start dismembering, you would think. I mean, I would, if that were to happen, you know, you'd want to make sure it's dead first, all the way.
Yeah, but I'd be afraid to put my
Unfortunately-
face up against it to feel if it's breathing.
Right.
It might
But if it's
bite my
real,
cheek.
if
I
it's
know.
real and it's authentic and you took pictures, then it's one of those things that people will say it's fake, but they won't ever. If it's real, there's nothing to disprove it.
Exactly.
So it's not gonna. There's not gonna be any damning features inside those photos of your authentic Bigfoot.
Yeah.
That will completely bury it. I mean, people are still talking about all these trail camera photos and stuff all this time later, and I think like some of them aren't Bigfoot. I think that they're other animals or they're
I think the
or
patchy
they're
one's a
fake
bear.
or something like that. But even those have lasted for like decades as potential Bigfoot stuff. So, and people continue to analyze it. So I don't know. I mean, at least getting something out of it, you know. But like to go out there and start hacking off limbs, like
You know what's funny though too is I often think it's like, okay, if I ever get the opportunity, the lucky one, to run over one, it's like first question is who would I call? What would I do with it?
Yeah.
You know, because
Mom, Dad.
Yeah, oh yeah.
you'd have to get into town. It'd be like a Roger Patterson situation with the film. Like they just didn't they just book it out of there, or they stayed around a little while?
Yeah,
but
they
then
stayed. Well, they came back the next day and cast it. I think
Oh.
wasn't it the next day or later in the day?
They went back to camp that day, and then Bob said it started to rain, so he went to cover it with leaf litter, or not leaf litter, tree bark. And then they went back to cast it and left. Bob Titmus came back and casted some of the better tracks out there.
And it's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Because
right
something-
there.
He's just
coming.
laying there. There's something walking down there, but I
Yeah,
don't
there's
think
it's
coming.
getting closer too, and I don't know if it's a bear. And Bandit's laying right there, so
Well,
it kind of worries me.
He'll perk up because
Yeah, you'll let us know.
he'll hear it and he'll sound the alarm. He's on duty. He doesn't look like it, but
Okay,
Yeah.
because I just heard that was
Uh-huh.
that was close. That was right there.
But, well, I mean, if I hit one, the first thing I would do is take a full, like a video, right? HD, absolute best quality I can put my phone on, and then just take a full video going all the way around, stuff like that, and then just take millions of pictures.
right.
And since it's the real deal, well, like you said, it's like there's no reason for
Yeah.
you have nothing to hide because it's the actual thing. It's like
Oh, I agree, and it's like the thing I would do too. I would do the same thing, but I would pee on it because nobody in their right mind would let you pee on them. Let's be real.
Hey, some people are into that.
So
That was the
Boy.
last thing I thought you were going to say. Ted.
as a test to see if it's alive.
No, as a test to see if it's not a person in a costume.
like
Oh, but Bigfoot would be cool with it.
Yeah. Well, they smell apparently, so why not?
I mean,
I mean, if you kill a person in a Bigfoot costume and then you pee on them, they're not going to be like, "Hey, man, hey, I'm not into that." Oh, sorry, I'm supposed to be dead.
Well, that's it. Yeah, if you staged it, then yeah. Wait, no, you
I
have
record a video of you peeing on it.
Yeah, is that a new form of dominant Bigfoot behavior?
Oh
Just-
my
just
God.
peeing on each other.
Ew.
Just walking up, start peeing on a guy.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Okay, see now, if it's wet with pee, it's not going in my car.
Mm.
Blood I can handle, but
Blood I can-
pee, no.
That's how I meet people at the gas
smells.
station and everything. How you doing?
How you doing? It's a Bigfoot on top of your car, and you go to the gas station first.
I could just imagine like hitting a Bigfoot, putting the whole body on the back of my car, going to Willow Creek, and then trying to call somebody like Jeff Meldrum, and not having good service.
Yeah. Jeff
Come
Meldrum
on, I
did
just
anyway.
had LTE.
The person this week says they hit a Bigfoot in their car. Damn it, I'm not answering the phone.
You know what though? The best scenario would be hit it hard enough on the front of your car, so it busts through your window and lands in the
And
back.
I was
seat.
gonna say
And just
that.
keep going.
and just keep
My
going.
boss, a long time ago in Alaska, was driving to Alaska and hit the back end of a elk, and it went right through the window, right through the middle. It was in the back seat of the car, and its head was actually stuck through it peeled back the roof of the car.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he had a convertible.
Yeah. And they drove
Oh my-
into the next town that way, and he saw a picture of it. It was nuts.
My
wow.
God.
So I'm thinking, if you hit a normal sized squatch and he's not squatting or running, he's just kind of walking, and you hit him middle. Yeah, he's going right through your window.
Yeah,
Um,
and that'd be perfect. Then I'd be driving a lot faster.
Like, hey, can you put your
Wherever I'm
seatbelt on? I'm trying to drive
Yeah,
here.
it's in the passenger
Yeah.
seat.
It's just
yeah, but you hear truckers sometimes hitting them, or trains hit them.
it's crazy.
Guys say
man.
they hit them all the time.
going. Really? I haven't heard any of those stories.
Yeah, who's it? I forget. I was hearing someone was interviewing a train guy who's for years has seen them along the tracks and over time, and says every now and then they hit one.
Wow.
Weird.
So what do they do with them? They just let them fly off into the side and leave them there?
Oh yeah, they're hauling butt. They're just
Yeah.
cruising in the open out there.
Wow.
And that's what I was thinking too. Is like even if you weren't able to get the Bigfoot into your car or something like that, like they'll most likely more will come probably and just take it.
Yeah. Well,
Because I mean they have their own burial
yeah,
grounds
we've
and stuff like that.
been yet to see any, so that's actually one of a lot of questions that people answer. What happens to the dead? Where are the
Yeah,
bones?
where the bones at?
So nobody really knows.
I don't know if I believe the whole burying thing. That's a little far fetched for me.
I think that for sure, like, okay, so you see a lot of variations in ape behavior when you look at like populations of gorillas and chimpanzees. So I want to say that I accept that at least one group, one region of Bigfoot somewhere in America or somewhere in the world practices some type of burial. Because there's been gorillas observed covering up the dead with leaves and stuff.
There is a story, I don't think it might be in the BFRO database, but someone did observe two squatches put something in the river that was wrapped in leaves and boughs and stuff and watched it float away. Like in the Pacific Northwest, Vancouver area.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Wow, like a Viking memorial or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch them go.
That's pretty elaborate. I now that I would be a little skeptical of, just because there's no other report like it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to say that they don't have culture, that they're not intelligent enough
Yeah, you
to
talk
be
about natives.
like starting off where our ancestors were.
Yeah, Tate, someday
million
you should reach
years
out
ago.
to Becky Cook. She's over in Arrow Falls. And she's native. She's got stories. She's written a few books. Bigfoot lives in Idaho and things like that.
Yeah, I read that one.
And she's got, her dad was a tribal policeman for a long time and has stories. And she's interviewed old natives that lived there for a while. And she's got some crazy stories that these guys have of just how they interact and on just a daily basis with them. There's one time, it might have been the same family, but the one story she had, this family goes and annually gathers firewood, and so they, the dad, old grandpa, always went out by himself, and he always came back with a giant wagon full of logs. They're like, how are you doing this? He wouldn't tell them, and so they followed him one time, and I don't know what did he say. He said he has a friend that likes coffee. I think is what he said. And so they decided to follow him one time, and this guy he goes down some trail like this, down here this road, and sets up camp, starts cooking, and he puts coffee on, and within a few minutes, this freaking squad comes walking out of the trees, and they sit down and they have coffee. And then this guy, this watch, puts the logs in the wagon for him, and then he drives out. And same thing, the other grandma in the story has the same, sort of the same question of a gentleman caller, he calls it. And this thing will come along and, like she likes to live natively, like not native. What I'm saying is more traditional methods, like in a house that doesn't have like modern conveniences, and she still uses an outhouse and things like that. And her excuse is that she says, well, when the shit hits the fan, somebody has to remember how to do this. And so, but something comes along and moves the snow for her out of the way so she can make it out to the outhouse, and something stacked of wood, and same thing. She says she has Squatch that helps her with this stuff.
So weird.
That's actually kind of cool if it's true.
Seriously.
Yeah. So reach out to her and go talk to her. She's got some amazing stuff. I've seen her a few times over. I met her a few times over in Idaho Falls when we had that festival over there.
What was her name again?
Becky Cook.
Becky. I will look her up.
Yeah. She's also, ironically, one of the tallest women in the world. She's in the Guinness Book of Records, like that, or something like that. I'm not kidding. I have a picture. I think she's 7 feet.
What?
That's tall.
Pretty damn close, like 6'10", 6'11". She's a big woman. It's amazing.
Yeah, a number of years ago, I read that Bigfoot Lives in Idaho book.
Yeah.
Because I had a friend that we were doing an internship down in Florida, and he was from Idaho. And so, like, I was joking, we were going to go look for Bigfoot in Idaho sometime, and I never got around to doing it, but I did buy that book, read it, and then I mailed it to him later, and I did a bunch of doodles inside of it, because, I don't know, I was...
Actually, my first motorcycle sighting on the motorcycle was in her book. It's actually, she just did a podcast I listened to, and it was her second favorite story to tell, was that story of mine. I think it's in Still Lives in Idaho, second book, I think it's in that.
Oh, that one, yeah. I don't think I ever got around to getting that one, but yeah, there's some good ones. The first one, I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, she's been doing it for years, been keeping track of people's stories over there.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good place to end tonight's episode. Thank you all for listening, and until next week, we're the Bluff Creek Project Podcast.
Right.
Later, all.
Goodbye.
Bye.
This canyon wall carries my tune. The only one to hear my song are the coyotes and the wolves. But if I dream